Hey y'all. It's Dee of H&D Abroad. Um, I am on tonight as part of the self-care series that I haven't done in a little while because we've been taking full advantage of collaboration, but we're going to lean back into this self care full circle conversations. And I want to say thank you for joining me tonight. I see some folk in the chat. I appreciate you all joining. Um, for those who don't know me or know about our channel, we've had quite a few people, new people to join. I want to introduce myself. I am Dee of H&D Abroad, where we are always talking about the move abroad as a plan A for creating generational wealth and embracing a healthier lifestyle. So, on this channel, we're talking about various aspects of the move abroad process as we are doing it in real time. So, most of you all know our plan is we not only it is our plan, we are working the plan to be out in 2024. And that means that we are looking and getting help from our community, with like folk like you, as well as talking to people who have moved, who are in the process of moving, and we're sharing all of the, as they say, the good, the bad, and the ugly with you all, so that you know this is a real process that is doable and that regardless, you're going to learn a lot about yourself, about your family, about your partner if you're married, and it is worth every effort that you're putting into it. So I wanted to come on and talk. Hey, Anita. Hey, Diane. Hi, Kimmy. Nice to see everybody in the chat. Dr. Linda, good to see you as well. I see you, H, in the comments. So we are just going to just dive right into a topic that it feels like the stars were aligning with three people today. So my sister April is on tonight. April, who is Positively Prill, is talking about setting your priorities and getting things in place, like getting a plan in place. And I was just like, ooh, yes. And then Krishan was talking about solo travel. I was like, maybe we're on the same wavelength. And then Adelia Abora Sade today was Picky Girl Travels the World was talking about, is the mathing for your move abroad? So I just feel like a lot of us are in this thoughtful space of, you know, what do we want? What do we need to do to take those action steps to get what we want? And sometimes part of that process that I have learned that I want to share in this 7 things I wish I knew is really about the things that I've discovered in my process in 2023 that I have learned from so many other people um, uh, on just this part of this journey. Of course, is what I'm doing with my partner, my husband Herman. But a lot of this is the work that I am individually doing. And ooh, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm peeling back the layers of myself. If you are in the 35 to 50 age range, like you can kind of start to get some perspective on I was not the person that I was in my 20s. Like I'm really drilling down because of experiences, because when life is lifing, you see some different aspects of the person that you thought that you were or didn't know that you could be. And so some of that I think is good. I'm really glad to see Anita, Global Granny, because like she is like you need some mentors in your life so that you can like see how you want your life to line up. She is one of those people that I intentionally bring close to me pretty often to say, "Hey, how are you doing, sis? What you doing? Where you going? And what's your process?" Because I think that is a huge part. Tracy Collins and I have connected as fellow doula sisters, but also just connecting in a space where we are really centering our emotional well-being. And she said something that I'm going to talk about again tonight. Hi, Tina. Nice to see you in the chat tonight. So, like, I want to kind of get down into it. So, this year, you know, the move abroad process isn't just like something that was on my to-do list. For a lot of us, this is taking a dream, whether it's a new dream because you are now ready to center rest. And there are a lot of things that are happening, have happened in the US, some traumatic experiences, just being a Black person, a Black woman in the United States that we are just not going to center in our lives anymore. And that I don't need to be the overcomer, the problem solver, the person that the community looks to, that your employer looks to be a problem solver. Like as we are taking a lot of that baggage, a lot of that weight off of our shoulders, we're just beginning to look up and let the light in about what do I need and how do I center and figure out what those needs are, and then kind of start to fulfill them over the course of your life, over the course of your discovery process. So yeah, you have to do something different to get a different result. And that has been a beautiful challenge as our children are now adults and they're able to take care of themselves. They're able to move in the world. I'm not the carpool mom. I'm not cooking dinner for somebody every night. I share that responsibility. I did a lot better this week, so I'm gonna pat myself on the back for cooking a lot more than I normally do. But yes, Anita, when you take that cape off, you can find out some things, that hey, do I still like that? Or I didn't know that was something that I needed in my life. So one of the strategies that I used this year was house sitting. Like I'm on a budget because we did some travel this year, and I'll talk a little bit about some of the places that I went. But to be able to afford outside of um, some of the bigger trips, I decided to do house sitting to leverage more time, and this is how I did it that I wish I had known about decades ago. And that is my job does allow me to work remote anywhere in the US, anywhere that I don't need a passport, I can work. And I was just like, huh. So could I spend 2 weeks 3 weeks, 6 weeks somewhere else? Could that be helpful to give me a different perspective of the US? Give me a different perspective of myself, give me access to some things that if I was trying to finance 6 weeks somewhere might be a little bit more of a challenge. And when I tell you, it opened some serious doors. One, um, I got to do a lot more of the little nature things I like to do, like hiking. I was able to garden more, even though I don't have a garden at my home. I chose house sits where I got a chance to take care of someone else's plants and, be kind of a temporary gardener to kind of fill that need. And just, I mean, just beautiful roses. I've posted some on Instagram. I've shared a little bit about that on YouTube as well. But I was just like, man, I really do love the outdoors. And what I've also discovered is the more that I've been traveling this year, the more it's actually helping to shape where I want to choose as my location when we move abroad. I spent some time in Florida on the beach a couple of times this year, and I call um, the sounds of the ocean um, brain massages. It's the only way I can describe it. Is it's like a brain massage, and somebody, if you have like me, I have attention deficit disorder. Um, and I was just like, my brain really needs the sounds of water in my everyday life. It helped with my sleeping, it helped me to relax at the end of the day. There's almost like a peaceful vibration that I feel because I'm near moving water. And so I was just like, look, you can do you can, you wouldn't have I wouldn't have known how important that was if I hadn't gone on these trips for enough time to see that how it made a difference in my everyday life. Cuz let me tell you, I was, let's see, so on one trip, I was my balcony, the beach. So it was beautiful. I had so you're watching the sunrise and the sunset. I could watch it from my bed, like woo. But also it got me out of the house every single day to walk to the beach. And it was about a third of a mile. So literally just a few blocks, and then I was at the beach. And I committed when I did that house sit to go to the beach every day. And I went every day. Just to get out to make sure that I did, what was it? I think I did a sunrise, so you could see that. I talked in the morning, so it helped me to it motivated me to get out of the bed and get out of the house and take some time early in the morning for stretching and just some quiet meditation. And I was just like, woo, I did not know that it could have that much of an impact. Location or place could have that much of an impact on just how I felt emotionally and just that part of the self discovery. So yes, traveling on a budget is something I was like, you don't you can plan how to go. So I have a house sit in January. I've been stalking the tickets. So once I got that house sit confirmed, I've been watching the tickets, and I found from my city to where I'm doing my house sit, the round trip ticket was less than $160. And I was like, "What?" So I can go and then stay in a place for a substantial amount of time, and I'm spending less than $80 um, one way. So yeah, and because house sitting is international, then seriously, you can travel with no, with very few financial barriers. So it's saving a lot of money, which is allowing me to spend it on a few extra things. So you all know I've been using house sitting to see my family, but also I'm gonna get a chance to see the Alvin Ailey dance troupe when I go. And I was just like, "Oh my gosh." Like, you just, house sitting is opening up so many doors. You can learn. What I have learned is that I was waiting to make those big trips. Yes, I want to go to Italy, like Krishan was talking about today on Blacks at Global. I really do. I want to go to Ecuador, one of the places that we're looking at moving to. And I was just like, but what's in budget? And I don't have to take any PTO time off. I'm going to do house sitting. So I wish I had known that I could travel on a budget. I also wish that I had been bold enough as a married solo Black woman traveler to feel safe. Safety, and I believe that I've shared this on the channel before. I had a very traumatic event where I don't like to be out at night, um, especially when I'm alone. I don't shadows and things are kind of weird. I mean, like, I don't know if it's my vision or what, but I was just like, I don't like being out here by myself. And, and then to have my mom say, is it safe for you as a Black woman to be in somebody's house? The stories that we see on the news. Black man got a police called on him watering his neighbor's garden, that she asked him to do that. Just things like that are a part of what we face here in the US. And so, yeah, it is a part of what I have to be aware of. But I can I can take the same street smarts, the same safety things that I do at home, and apply them wherever I go. So yes, when I house sit, I say on that introductory call, I will need to be introduced to your neighbors. I need them. I need the people who you regularly communicate with, who regularly see you in your yard, to know that someone else is going to be in your yard, unlocking your door in your backyard, as a reality. And if they feel some kind of way about that, then I kind of know how, to govern myself. But I think, and then just using some basic safety mechanisms. Let's see. Um, oh goodness, Ball Girl Will Travel has a whole list of items that I have added in my Amazon wish list for, those door jams. Just making sure that you're not telling somebody that you're traveling alone. I mean, there are some common sense things, but there are some safety devices that you can use that will help you to be diligent about how you travel in the world, and that I think there will always be safety concerns. If you don't have your head on a swivel, like, then you're not doing it right, but it should not be a barrier. It should not be what weighs you down and keeps you from trying. So I think these smaller trips are giving me confidence. I think I talked when we did the Morocco versus Spain video. I talked about like those streets in Spain look like alleys. It took me several days to kind of be okay to feel comfortable, walking to the local dia to to the grocery store because I was just like, it didn't look like the Uber driver wanted to be up in here. So, is this a safe space? And so, taking those, taking stock of how you feel, feeling justified that, hey, I'm afraid, but it's not going to hold me back. What can I do to address my fear? Sometimes that means I need to talk to a therapist about my traumatic experience to unpack how I felt and that it should not automatically trigger life experiences into the future to the point where it keeps you locked into a life that doesn't allow you more self discovery. So another aspect is that once you start to travel, it is addictive. Get ready because you're going to want to do more of it. You're going to want to center time to be selfish, to say, I would like Indian food tonight. I want to go here. I want to go there instead of as when you are a family and you're on a family trip, and we talked a little bit about that when we went live from New York City. That when you've got 5 people, you're asking 5 people, where would you like to go to dinner? What activities would you like to do? And everybody's got their thing. When I'm on this journey of solo travel as a Black woman, if I want to do it, I do it. If I don't want to do it, I don't do it. And like that's new. That's really new for me at age 50. And I'm telling y'all, don't get people like Anita in your circle because she will tell you about the freedom. She will show you people are sharing the freedom on Instagram. It is good, good. When I say it is good, good, I'm telling you all that uh, from lack to legacy, Sandra Sandra gonna have me on a plane in Vietnam. Headed to Vietnam. I mean, she's on a cruise right now, just for the sake of I center luxury for myself. I'm worth being pampered. I want to eat well. I want to. She showed I guess what was it? The water puppets. It. Like when you're out here and you're just, I like that. I want to see that. I'm going to do that. That's new. That's new again for me, and it's it's beautiful to get used to that. If I wish I had done more of that as my children were growing up so that they could have that as a reference point. Mommy spends time with us. Mommy spends time away. Mommy's happier and rested and more energetic when she comes back. Yes, those are, I think, real things that when you get a taste of them, that you will regularly build them into your life. I heard somebody say, when you come back from your vacation, you should literally be on your calendar on before you log back in. You should already be planning your next trip. When Diamond Crystal um, says, look, I have already got my trips booked for the first two-thirds of 2024. Those are goals. You need to have people in your life that are saying, look, this is the refreshment, the freedom that I need. It will be a ready reminder to you. It will be, as well as people like Stephanie Perry, who this weekend in our coaching session, our group coaching session, she was like, "You need somebody in your life that centers ease, that is willing to say no and do less." You need those kinds of people in your life to remind you, "Girl, you're doing too much." Does every email need you to comment and remind people about things? Do you always have to be the strategist? There are a lot of people going with the flow. Why don't you try going with the flow today? It's new. It is, it is, it is what is giving me strength, motivation, and just the joy to, if this is what I'm experiencing and I'm tied to a place because of a job, like when I can say I can work anywhere I want to work, I'm going to be going places. And I now know how to plan better for them. The other thing that I wanted to mention is meetups. So, meetups have served me well in a couple of ways. Meetups have served me well because there are places I never would have gone if it hadn't been for a meetup. I would never have found myself in Morocco. And I'm saying Morocco because I got Dr. Linda in in the chat right now, and she's hosting a retreat in Morocco, and I'd have been like, "That's a pretty place, but that's not where I'm going." And, like, her event is opening doors. If you want to begin solo traveling, meetups are a perfect solution for, I'm traveling by myself, but I don't have to be by myself. That there are aspects of a meetup that allow me to be in community with people and then give me the freedom to explore a place on my own, either before the trip, during the trip, or after the trip. So I know the Exodus Summit community is heading to South Africa. I know that Dr. Linda is planning her retreat to Morocco. I know, let's see, it's the Mexodus Sojourners. They're planning a retreat in Mexico. I know Kat and Kathy. Wellside Retreats is planning a retreat in Mexico City, an urban retreat. Like y'all, if what you need to get on the road, you've gotten your passport, I'm ready to make my first trip abroad, make it a meetup. Make it somewhere where you can, hey, I can navigate a part of this, then be in community with people that I've gotten to know. There's a lot of these groups that do some pre-work, give you all an opportunity, to meet the people that you will be in community with on the retreats. And then you got your time for yourself. And I feel like that was an important piece to my process, that I'm super, super excited that it went well, because I'm still kind of tentative in groups, but also the meetup gave me, a reason, and gave, as I got closer, a lot of excitement about making a trip. Even though I didn't go alone, I spent the time in Morocco um, with the Exodus Summit ladies. It I know a lot of my sisters did use that as their first jump off place. So I'm saying find a community of folk that, hey, I might travel alone, but I've got this meetup that's going to, I won't be alone. I'll have something to do when I get there. I don't have to figure out some things to do, but then challenge yourself with doing some things independent while you're there. So I'm just telling you that, Diane, if you out here and you want to go somewhere, and if you're following someone, as far as following people's travels, that gives me some clues. One of the things I wanted to do that my friend Candace actually did do was when we were in Morocco, she went to Rabat and Casablanca, and she took the boat, the ferry from Tangier to the south of Spain. I was just like, when you're looking at what it's like to travel in a space and do that you do your Googles, do your YouTube, learn from YouTube University of what's available. That research will always pay out. But don't be afraid to try some new stuff. You know, try try giving yourself the structured and the unstructured. So this is something that I did not know about myself at the beginning of 2023, that part of this list is things that, yes, I've learned it and I'm so happy about it. I found out some struggle areas. I don't have a lot of flexibility. I don't have a lot of flexibility, and I need to have more of it. Yes, sometimes I'm frustrated at the airport when flights are delayed, because when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. I don't want to be delayed getting to my hotel because I've booked transportation, or I'm supposed to be back home, or the flexibility to say, I'm not going to plan. I'm going to see what the city, or what the place gives me. So I'm just going to get out there. I'm going to walk the streets. We walk the streets of Sevilla. I was just like, "Oh, this looks like fun." Walk in, it's a great restaurant. You know, uh, oh, you want to ride the bike? The city bikes that are available? Okay. Get on the bus. Oh, that looks interesting. I'm going to, stop here. I don't know where I am, but my GPS will take me back to my hotel. I'm working on creating that mental flexibility and being flexible even with my itinerary, knowing that highly structured gives me comfort. That is my comfort area. I know what to expect, when to expect it, and I can build this trip. What I enjoyed is the self discovery, the discoveries I made, and I didn't regret that there were some touristy things that I didn't do, because I know that I always have time. I learned, I'm gonna pick back into Anita. Anita took a cruise to several places that she wanted to try, and then said, now I know the places I want to go back to. Like, yes, she did the bells and whistles on her cruise, but she also got a little bit of a taste. These that flexibility you can build in, and I think it's worth it, because I think I will have something new to contribute to a family trip, to a trip with my husband, to challenge my it's a challenge to me, and I appreciate being given the gift of understanding myself better. And I think that is the beautiful thing about travel. is I know that that flexibility, I'm gonna have to literally double down on it in the move abroad process. Watching Tracy Collins move to Mexico, watching our friends, David and Nikki prepare to move to Mazatlan, like, seeing that stuff up close, I know I'm gonna, and so I'm building in experiences that tell me, kind of give me a barometer on, you're still a work in progress. You are still a work in progress. And that the flexibility, um, the flexibility was a surprise in relationship to regret and disappointment too. I think I shared on the Spain versus Morocco video that we did that I overpaid at one of the shops we went to. I overpaid because I felt rushed. I was feeling rushed. And so because I didn't slow down, I overpaid for what I purchased. And then part of that purchase that was high priced, I had we had been traveling and with part of our luggage checked and the other part is carry-on. Well, I put those items that I purchased, that I over purchased from the store, in my carry-on luggage. I had forgotten what was in that wrapped package. And when I went through security, they said, "You can't have that. You're going to have to throw it away." So I had a complete meltdown. I complete meltdown. Like, it was not just that I had overpaid for an item, that I had gotten I felt like I had been taken advantage of in the process and overpaid. But to add insult to injury, I was also now having to throw it away because I had no time to go back and check that luggage to make my flight. Total meltdown, like tears, meltdown. And what I did see about myself as I reflected, I would have brooded over that. I would have allowed that cycle of, I can't believe this happened. Why did this happen to me? I'm angry, upset at myself, at the process. I would have brooded about that for a few days. And H would probably keep me honest if he was on live with me today. But yeah, it would have been some days, and we were getting ready to go through the last checkpoint, and I just took a deep breath and said, if it was for me, I would have had it. It's not for me. I don't have it anymore. Take a deep breath, and that was the last I talked about it on that trip. And I haven't brought that up since that moment in the airport. Y'all, that's some growth. That is some real growth that, yeah, you do need situations and circumstances to highlight that you are growing, that you are different, that you are changing, that your needs, that your desires, that your whatever what I think, knowing yourself is the best gift that I'm taking full advantage of at 50. And that made me so, I don't know if I would say proud, but just like looking at myself in awe, like, "Girl, look at you. Look at you growing." Yes, Anita. Making those mistakes. Ooh, you just have to take a deep breath and, you know, and say, "Hey, that's a lesson. That's a lesson that you learn." You know, Sandra, it made me think about it because Sandra was saying, she was like, the lesson I learned is double and triple check your transportation because she thought she had made a reservation with the concierge and they didn't make it. And now there was no transportation lined up. And now they were trying to double charge her. And she was just like, no. And, we, it's not that those situations aren't going to come up again, but I think for me, I think it's showing me I've still got work to do, but you're growing. You're growing, you're learning. Sisterhood is another thing that I wish I had known as deeply. And I'm so glad that this year, um, because I've centered travel and I've centered having more Black women in my circle that are traveling, that are moving abroad, that that sharing is not um, that sharing that there is a is safety in being able to share. And when I say share, I'm not just talking about, oh, go, this, if you want a good hotel or you want a driver that, will, no, I'm also talking about that you can feel safe with sharing yourself, sharing your struggle with other Black women, and that judge yourself is a real thing, because I'm not judging me. And to be able to have people around me that say, if you think you're struggling financially, we all out here trying to, you know, line up our lives to financially to be able to do the things that not only bring us joy, but just to be able to do the things that take care of us every day. I'm looking for work, you looking for work, we looking for remote work, we looking to retire early. I'm learning how to invest or trade. I love that more of the women in my circle are saying that perfection is an enemy. The idea of being perfect and being a learner is not a deficit. I don't have to be the expert in everything at all times. I don't have to make it look good. I can be myself, be accepted, and be connected, heart to heart with other people. And I'm so glad to have you, Ray. Thank you so much for joining. I think that is something that I want more Black women to experience is safe spaces together, that it is okay for us to be together. That, yes, it did take me days at first because when I was preparing for the Exodus Summit meetup, it took me a few days to say, that's not this group. They're not going to be judging your hair, your nails, your shoes, your clothes, how, they're not, that is not this group. And that the process leading up to that gave me confidence, and it's given me more confidence to reach out in the blind to people that I'm just meeting and saying, hey, you're a part of this community. I'm leading with kindness. I have a heart of kindness toward you. If you're willing to reflect that back to me, then let's roll. I mean, like that, there, it still feels risky. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just like friendship, uh, associating yourself closely, willing to your willingness to be vulnerable. This YouTube channel is a risk that I'm hoping is able to reach and say, it's okay. It's okay not to know. It's actually super powerful to say, I don't know, because then I'm not staying in what I don't know. When sisters offer me, have you looked at this job site? Maybe I'm going to look. When Anita said, you need to go check these condos out, they're $70,000 to purchase down here. Go look. Go look, because I don't take it for granted when someone gives to me, and then I'm actively looking for ways to share what I am learning with others. That is a part of Black culture that I was raised on. My grandparents, my parents said, "You didn't get here by yourself. You're standing on someone else's shoulders." I take that same approach. That is the core of our YouTube channel, is as I learn, I share. As we are sharing, we this is a community. This, as H says, this is a conversation. I expect you to be chatting it up in the chat with each other, as well as sharing with us. So yeah, I love learning. I love learning new things. It may take me a minute. I may not be as tech savvy, but I'm going to get in here and I'm going to push the boundaries, because what I have learned this year, 7 things that I wish that I had known before 2023. I'm telling you, I am growing. I can see the difference in my life because travel, because the community of travelers, of this move abroad process that's putting is shifting my views on, I gotta take this. You mean my whole life isn't going to be centered around paying a mortgage? It's not going to be centered around giving my children gifts that they are probably going to take and put somewhere and don't touch for years, and then they're going to wind up putting it, giving it to the thrift store, giving it away, re-gifting it, um hmm, putting furniture in a house, putting a pool in my backyard. I mean, like, why am I living off of, can I afford this, to, and when I say can I afford it, I mean, can the installment plan, the layaway of life, fit into my budget? I don't want that no more. I don't want that no more. These Black Friday sales and Christmas sales, and they have no attraction to me, because I have a goal. And I think the solo travel and the move abroad process is helping me to double down on some things, that I'm pushing the envelope work wise. I'm pushing the envelope about how I want to grow my businesses. And it's pushing me personally, um, socially. And I'm really excited that if this is what I'm experiencing, and in my first year, like, I've got so much more to learn and to benefit from and to grow. And I hope that y'all are doing the same thing for yourself. Don't just wish, go live. Like, there's always gonna be bills. I was so disappointed to find out, after we had paid off all that student loan debt, there were still bills. Like, they're still coming. What you gonna do now? Yes, Sandra. Yes. Yes. Girl, your ears must have been burning because we were talking about you on this channel today about the difference that sisterhood is making, watching your journey and watching so many other Exodus Summit sisters say, I'm going to step out on faith. I'm going to step out on, I think that I want this. Trust me, you got one time to burn me. I'm gonna learn that that's not the path, that that's not the approach, or that's not the way. Or, oh, I'm gonna double down just like Sandra did. I'm gonna double down on confirming. You're gonna put it in writing. What's your name? What's your supervisor's name? What time is my travel? Learning those things. I am willing to learn the lessons. I'm also willing to do the research. I'm willing to be at a deficit. When I say at a deficit, I'm talking about being in places where I don't speak the language, because Google Translate is changing people's lives. It changed mine. And even when I can't communicate in the way that I want to, pointing, context clues, people are willing to work with you when you make the effort, when you are approaching them with respect. I have tried these along my travel journey. Respect goes a long way. Attempting to understand the culture and to be in community with the culture that you are engaging in as a guest, whether you are moving abroad, whether you are traveling abroad, people can tell. People can see the approach that you're taking. And I now have more confidence about that and will expand my exploration, knowing that I can do it safely. And when I say sisterhood, I'm not just talking about my US based sisters going to a place and we're going to meet up together. I'm getting in these groups saying, I'm going to be here for X amount of time. Does not anybody want to meet up? We out here risking it all, meeting people we don't know. I mean, I'm going to a neutral place. That's how you meet people. It's what we did when we were in school. When you were in school, you did, even if you were in a small community, there were new people who came into that community. Now you're the new person. Get out there, try. If you don't try, you don't know. And I can tell you, I'm watching other Black women be successful in these spaces, meeting up with people who are local to the area where you're going, who can say, oh, you want to know where the good restaurants are? You want to know, oh, you're in this section of town. Be mindful of X, Y, and Z. Get that on the ground, that local insight. Get to meet some local people. If you go in for tea, because it's not coffee for me, it's tea. If you're going in to buy that tea and every day at the same time, you're going to get your nails done at that place, that massage at that same, they will recognize you. They will greet you. You will be surprised at how quickly community develops around you as you are in this process. So I'm just saying, you know, the reminders that I love adventure, that I can center safety, that I really need more of these things. That travel creates the hunger for self-discovery, for having a spirit of learning. That meetups have made a difference in my life. Meeting to go to a new place, as well as meetups, have also been how I've connected with new people. Um, just leveraging the sisterhood, because there are people who are more schooled at the things that you're doing, can encourage you, that you can where you can truly be your authentic self, and that yeah, you're going to need to learn that you've got some areas to grow. My Like I said, my area to grow is flexibility. Um, and I think the other area that I'm growing in, that we are centering, is that it's selfish season. That yes, I have a right to be selfish. I can center myself. I can what do I want for me? It makes when I can nourish myself. And Tracy Collins knows I'm a plant person. When you give the soil, some good nutrients, when you give it sunlight, when you give it water, I have seen plants that have looked like they were at death's door bloom. So I thought I would share part of how 7 ways, 7 areas that where I am blooming, where I am learning, and that to challenge our audience to consider the same. So yes, 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 yes. Centering not just selfishness, but luxury. Um, These sisters, Money Coach Malika is out here centering luxury. You have earned those dollars, those late nights, those early mornings, those crazy coworkers. You have earned the right to spend your money to give you beautiful things. By whether it's getting flowers, getting Sandra was getting the presidential suite, baby. I mean, like that. You need people in your circle. You need to nourish yourself selfishly in that way. You deserve beautiful things, and that's an area where I am personally growing. And I hope that these 7 things have been helpful to think about together today. So all right. Thank you, Frank, for joining us today. Let's see. Hold on. I think I saw, oh, goodness. I'm trying to go back. Hey, Stephen, Bayesian Alpha 4, thank you so much for joining tonight. Y'all are beautiful. Elsie, thank you so much for joining. I'm trying to make sure I shout out all of the community that joined me this evening. We have a wonderful Saturday planned. We are back to our regular Saturdays at 1 p.m. Central Time schedule. So we hope to see you all this Saturday. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me and with us. See you next time. Bye for now.